Don't blow it. Just take him out.
Sorry, but my contract says...
I know! You think I don't know? I wrote the contract! I know it says you're only required to kill Hercules in this tournament. But you gotta fight that kid to get to him. Come on.
Alright, so let's break down what's going on here. We've got this guy, Hades, both from Greek mythology and the animated Disney movie Hercules, talking to this guy, Cloud, both from Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VII. Now, Hades is trying to convince Cloud to beat up this child. The child is not from any previous media, but if you'll notice, standing next to him are Donald and Goofy from various Disney movies. Now, Cloud agrees to beat up the child, but when they do fight, a big dog shows up, and the kid beats it with a comedically large key. That is insane. That makes no sense. That's Kingdom Hearts. Hello, I am Bizly, or bizlychannel. It's like Disney Channel, but Bizly. And I would like to talk at length about a children's game I recently replayed called Kingdom Hearts. A game that takes the Disney and Final Fantasy universes like two different colors of Play-Doh and mashes them together into one new color of Play-Doh.
I want to eat this so bad.
Overall, it's a pretty weird concept, and when I've talked to people who've never played it before, they tell me they've stayed away from it for that exact reason, thinking they could never possibly understand what's going on unless they had played the 10 Final Fantasy games before it and watched 30 some odd Disney classic films. But anyone who's actually played the first game will tell you this game isn't really confusing at all, and in fact could be easily understood by anyone who's never experienced any of that. I know that because I didn't watch Disney movies as a kid, and I know nothing about Final Fantasy, but keys. There's a lot of keys involved as well. The introduction to the game is probably the most confusing part. You play as a kid named Sora, who's one of 4 original characters created for the game. You choose your stats, smack a couple little creatures called Heartless, and you go through a door to find these children asking you wildly deep questions about life. But don't worry, your answers to these questions will greatly impact the entirety of this game. And the best part? They never tell you why. We get just a little existential at the function, but then we get to fight this big behemoth creature of darkness. He's got these glowing eyes and dark tentacles squirming around the place. And as you're fighting him, the darkness begins to consume you, and you go unconscious. When you open your eyes again, you're on a beach. Give it one more go. That's enough. It turns out the entire thing was just a dream, and Sora's just as confused as you are. Now, this is the key to what makes Kingdom Hearts work so well. You may not know what the hell is going on, but neither does Sora. He's just a normal kid hanging out in a treehouse with his bros, dreaming of exploring. This aligns the player's point of view with Sora, making it so that you're discovering everything alongside him. And the first people we discover alongside him are Riku and Kairi, his 2 friends living with him on Destiny Island.
Ready? Go!
Oh, just look at them go. They're just the best of pals. This island just looks so vibrant and fun, right? Wrong. You're wrong. This is Purgatory, a hellish island from which there is no escape. You will be pelted with balls, beaten with sticks, and a small girl will demand you search day and night for items you could not possibly dream of finding. You have all the stuff that you asked for. I got it all.
Now I have another.
What? In most games, there might be a little hint or a waypoint to what you're looking for. Not here. Kairi will tell you once what you're looking for. And if you can't find it, well, that's your own dumbass fault. And the music. That damn music will not cease. Its joyous melody only standing to fuel your despair as you toil away. So what's really happening here is these 3, Sora, Riku, and Kairi, are looking to build a raft to go out and explore beyond their world. And this first section of the game here is you gathering supplies for that journey. And finally, after you have scoured the island for every item on the list, it turns out it actually didn't matter, and darkness starts to swallow the world. Riku gets swallowed by darkness completely. That boy is gone. And just as he disappears, we get the Keyblade, the incredibly iconic weapon that has become a staple for this series. Heartless begin to infest the island, just like in Sora's dream. So naturally, he starts kicking hearts and taking keys. Now it does look cool, but realistically, the Keyblade is not a great weapon. I mean, it's kind of hard to hold. And technically it's called a blade, but I don't think it's actually meant to be sharp. It's more like a blunt weapon that barely works. I actually found these guys who forged a Keyblade with the intention of it being a weapon, and even then, it didn't really look that effective. It's just not doing it, you know?
Here's Tony.
Oh, hi Tony. What the fuck? Now, as for the combat gameplay wise, it didn't age very well in my opinion, but it's not that bad. Especially in the 1.5 remix version where the camera movement is so much better. Do not play the original version on the PS2 unless you want to get nauseous. Early game combat is definitely less fun, but it's something that progresses and gets much deeper as the game goes on. Through the game, you'll unlock new abilities, magic spells, maneuvers like dodge rolls or blocking. It's at this point the Destiny Island is swallowed by darkness. Sora gets knocked out and separated from Riku and Kairi, setting up his journey throughout the game to go and find them. When you wake up again, you're in an unfamiliar place. Oh my god. Okay, stop. Oh my god. Stop. Oh my god. Thanks.
You're welcome.
I think a lot of people playing this game were more familiar with the Disney characters than the Final Fantasy characters, and that's why when you wake up, you're surrounded by Final Fantasy characters. Probably have no idea who they are. I didn't. What the hell is this thing? Why does it make that sound? Who the hell is this guy, and why have I grown such a strong emotional attachment to him? Is that a sword? Gun? Can I have that instead? This is the first of the many worlds that you can visit in this game, and it's called Traverse Town. Throughout the entire game, you'll be coming back here consistently to visit the various shops and buy items, as well as discover some of the many secrets hidden around Traverse Town. Now, before we move on, just really quickly, I want to tell you, we're doing a fundraiser for the American Heart Association. I'm not going to get into it right now, but if you're interested, and you probably should be, because it affects most people, you stick around till the end of the video, and I'll talk about it a little more at length. For me, it might be the most memorable world from this game. It really isn't all that big, but it's packed full of secrets that make it feel much bigger than it actually is, and you're forced, pretty much, to explore it at length. And that's because the game does not tell you where to go, pretty much ever. Not a waypoint, it's not a quest book telling you where to go, nothing. It's just nothing. And I'll be honest, it can be pretty stressful when you get stuck, but I honestly wish more games did this. It builds this sense of wonder around exploration. Only when you stop running to where you're supposed to go can you actually explore where you want to go. Goddamn, put that shit up on a poster with a picture of a cat and hang it up in a corporate office. Yeah, sure, if it had markers, I'd probably get to the point a little bit faster, but I wouldn't take so many detours to places like the Dalmatians house. Based on the movie 101 Dalmatians, this houses all of the Dalmatians that you find throughout the game. There are 101 of them scattered all throughout the different Disney worlds, and when you find them, they'll pop up back here. The lack of direction in this game is something that made me slow down and take my time, and while yes, I didn't like it at some points and I had to watch a walkthrough every now and again, it made me slow down and really appreciate the game. I wasn't in a rush to finish it, I was just having a good time. This is one of the things that if Kingdom Hearts released today, would be extremely different. As a matter of fact, I think the entire game would be so much different if it had come out today. For one, there would be no Final Fantasy characters. That's too risky. We're not gonna, no brand risks. Cloud, you're a brand risk. Combat would be dumbed down massively. You know what, there might not even be combat. They might just make it an Animal Crossing ripoff. They did that, if it wasn't clear. That's what this is. Oh, and Donald and Goofy would be constantly giving you hints, explaining the puzzle before you even have a chance to do it. I don't know at what point it became popular for games to hold your hand the entire way, becoming a brain-off glop fest, but it is crazy to see that a children's game from 2002 has more respect for the player's intelligence than a game like God of War.
That stairway's blocked. Maybe it'll help us get out of this stupid place. Oh, look. Carry
Let me
that
guess.
everywhere. Blue door that's
Even the voice actor for Atreus got so annoyed hearing his own voice that he was telling IGN all about it.
Because I'm trying to do the puzzles and I hear myself giving myself like the hint. I get so sick of hearing my voice sometimes.
All that being said, I do think there are better ways to do exploration-based gameplay than what they do here. The setup is basically, we get some cutscenes showing that Donald and Goofy are also exploring Traverse Town. The problem is that to find them, you're not necessarily going to where they are, more so you're just trying to walk through the right doors to trigger a cutscene to progress the story. This sort of gameplay would work so much better if the objective path was not extremely linear. Eventually just walking in and out of doors trying to find the right one. I got there and I started fighting some Heartless and Donald and Goofy dropped down. Having a party that fights alongside you is a huge part of this game and plays a fundamental role in how deep this combat becomes. Not only are you building out stats, items, and abilities for yourself, but you're doing it for all three characters, trying to create the best party composition, determining who will play what role and giving them items and abilities based on that. You don't really have to do all of this unless you're on the harder difficulties, but there is a lot of customization here. You can even tweak how each of your party members acts in combat, whether or not they play aggressive or defensive, if they use items a lot or sparingly. It adds so many factors to think about and fine-tune to create the strongest group possible. And Donald's dead. Now, Donald and Goofy aren't just thrown into this story as mindless companions. They have a story of their own too. They're also traveling between the worlds to find their missing friend, the King, Mickey Mouse, or Mick, as I like to call him. We're kind of friends. I don't like to make a big deal about it. Okay, fine, I'll show you the picture, but just don't look at me different, okay? I'm still a regular guy. Donald and Mickey were tasked by the King to follow the key bearer, and seeing as Sora bears the key, they go with him. Sora also talks to a Final Fantasy character named Leon, who explains that the Heartless are dark creatures that consume the hearts of not only people, but the worlds that they infest. He also tells us about Ansem, the fourth original character to this game, and the King on his world, who studied the Heartless extensively. And throughout the game, you can find the missing pages of Ansem's research journal. Donald and Goofy offer to take Sora along in their ship to search these different Disney worlds for their missing companion. And now, it really begins. Get ready for the ride of your life, soaring through the galaxy, aboard the Gummy Ship. Yeah, the Gummy Ship kind of sucks. There's nothing bad about it, it's just a simple minigame, but it does get old pretty quick. And before you start yelling at me in the comments about it, oh, look at the pretty light. Oh, look at that, dude. Look at that. Oh, where'd it go? Just distract them, it's just that easy. I will give you that it makes traveling between the Disney worlds feel more like a journey, which is a good thing. And overall, I admire how committed Kingdom Hearts is to implementing different types of gameplay all the way through to the end. But when I could skip it, I did. Every time. There's a total of 12 different Disney worlds you can visit throughout this game. And usually you're given a choice between two that you can visit right away, but you're not told which is which. I'm not going to talk about all of them, so I'll just go down the list of the few that I do want to touch on. And the first big one to mention is the Colosseum. There's very little to it, and in fact, you're not required to spend much time here at all. It's mostly built for optional boss fights, which I thought was very cool. But more importantly, it brings us back to the beginning with all these different characters interacting. Since I started writing this video, I've thought a lot about this game, running over and over in my mind the idea on paper versus the actual experience of Kingdom Hearts. Why did it work so goddamn well, resonate with so many people, when on paper, the idea sounds kind of bad? And it comes down to this. A well-written character does more than just push the plot forward. They're not just plot devices, they're realistic people acting firmly and consistently in the way that they would. The fact that Kingdom Hearts pulls all but 4 characters from games and movies where they are the focus ensures that every character, down to the most minor appearance, is written with the charm and thought of a story centerpiece. This guy Cloud, who fights Sora, if you've never played Final Fantasy VII, you'll have no idea that Cloud was the main character. His thoughts and personality were already fully thought out in that game, and here inform how he carries himself. It shows in his presence and design alone. Just because he has a past that you do not fully know upon meeting him does not make meeting him confusing, in the same way that when you meet a person in real life, you do not know everything that they've been through. Kingdom Hearts works so well because it pulls from media that it doesn't assume you've already seen. You don't need to know Cloud from Final Fantasy VII because the game allows him to just be Cloud from Kingdom Hearts. And for those who've played Final Fantasy VII, they get to see one of their favorite characters again. And for those who see Cloud in Kingdom Hearts, if you want to know more about him, you could just go play the game. Such great care was taken here to ensure that all of these characters behaved in line with their previous iterations. Not only is it not confusing, but as a matter of fact, it makes all these characters so much more compelling. No matter where Cloud came from, he is here, and he beat my ass. I'm glad the dog showed up. I was getting whooped. I don't really have much more to say about the Colosseum. I really just wanted to touch back on that point. So I'm gonna jump to the next world, Wonderland. It's overall overall just the weakest level in my opinion. Just hearing the music makes me want to run a stop sign. The school play environments just didn't really do it for me. Just feel like it did not get the kind of love that a world like Nightmare Before Christmas got. The puzzles here were nothing, and okay, this is probably what really did it for me. The ending boss fight having a hitbox just above where you can jump, so you have to keep going up on the table and jumping off and hitting him. Frustration, breathing exercises, in, out, in through the nose, out through the mouth. I didn't like it. But it is the first area where you can see the overall plot taking shape. Basically, Alice of Wonderland is accused of stealing something, and we have to prove that she's innocent, and in fact, the Heartless stole it. Otherwise, the Queen's gonna cut off her head. We do prove it. Queen doesn't really care, wants to execute Alice anyway, but oh no, what the freak? She's gone. But did she escape? Or was she kidnapped? She was kidnapped. Okay, so stick with me. The overarching plot is all the Disney villains have formed some secret nefarious alliance to steal all the princesses of Heart. 6 princesses that when together will allow Maleficent to open the door to, wait for it, Kingdom Hearts. Unfortunately for Alice, she is one of these princesses of Heart. Like I said, I never really watched the Disney movies. I don't really know what or who Maleficent is, but she's evil and scary, so that's like really all that matters. Maleficent's been controlling the Heartless and sending them out to steal these princesses, and also corrupted my boy Riku. He let the darkness into his heart, and Maleficent convinced him that Sora replaced him and Kairi with Donald and Goofy, even though he meets up with Sora and Sora's like, no dude, I'm looking for Kairi, what's up? And then Riku's just kind of like, yeah, whatever, small time. Okay, asshole, you really want to fuck it. The actual mission in Wonderland is pretty nothing, but I love that it sets up the events later down the line. They very easily could have allowed these Disney worlds to be self-contained adventures that had no bearing, just kind of followed the events of the movies entirely without integrating them into the grander plot, but they didn't. There's connection here, and that's cool. Before you can leave, you've got to close the world's keyhole, an opening that the Heartless will use to destroy the heart of this world. I'm not sure if it's clear, but the definition of heart in this game is not the typical one. How I understand it is it's more like life essence or soul that they're referencing. It's another one of those things that doesn't make a lot of sense, but you kind of just roll with it. No. Don't even think it. No. Bad. And once you close the keyhole, you can blast off to the next world. Now, we gotta talk about Deep Jungle, home to Tarzan. And I really only want to talk about one thing here, my friends, and that is platforming. A fun concept that this game is just not built for, yet forces you to do constantly. You'd have an easier time parallel parking a garbage truck than trying to jump and move precisely in this video game. Sorry to be a two-time hater, but this is just something that absolutely drove me nuts. There's specifically this mechanic that I find both interesting and infuriating, where the map is built vertically, and if you're in a higher area and you fall down like off a ledge, it'll drop you down into the lower area. It makes traveling down fun and convenient because you can just jump off the ledge and you're where you're trying to go. But it makes a failed jump detrimental. And I think I lost 5 years off my life trying to jump around in Tarzan levels, especially with the stupid like vine mechanic where you're trying to swing across, but it's not like you jump up to it and it magnetically grabs you. It's like a button prompt to jump on and a button prompt to jump off. So, oh my god, and it frustrated me to no end. And everything looks the same. Everything looks the same. I couldn't maneuver around well because there's no way to like tell where I am. Oh, where am I? Oh, that thing's by the tree. Where am I supposed to go? Oh, I need to go where it says in the cutscene? Okay, I'll just go to the tree or the leaf or the tree or the... I think the concept would work great if it was not a 2002 video game that was extremely clunky. You may have also noticed that is not Donald running around with me. No, I kicked his feathery ass to the curb the second I got here. And that's because most worlds will introduce companions who can join your party. But your party has a limit of 3, so you always have to replace either Donald or Goofy. It's always interesting to see who people ditch and why it's Donald. I give Donald shit, but he's really not that bad, especially if you make it a point to heal him whenever he goes down. But arguably, he is the weakest link, so I did kick him out every time there was another companion available, which is somewhat of a self-defeating cycle because the less you have him around, the less he levels up. And so he kind of just stays this little water balloon. It's fun to run around with the various different characters though and see them use all their abilities in combat. The best by far is Beast. He is a powerhouse, but we don't actually see him till the end of the game, so let me not get too ahead of myself. Close keyhole, gummy ship, move on. There's a lot I'll praise this game for, but in my opinion, its greatest strength and what makes it fun all the way through is its commitment to evolving. When you go to a Disney World with a distinct aesthetic, your outfits will change to match them. You go to a place like Atlantica that's completely underwater, you get a fishtail and the movement mechanics completely change. And in Neverland, you get to fly, which is basically the same as the swimming mechanics, but technically swimming is just like flying for fish, so it's, I don't know, it's still pretty cool. Once you get into the later game, you get higher jump abilities and glide abilities that allow you to backtrack to the old Disney worlds and reach things that you originally couldn't. There's even a moment where Sora unlocks his own heart and becomes a Heartless. It'll make sense later, but then you get to play as a Heartless. And when I was watching, I was like, oh dude, I wish we could actually play as the Heartless. And then you can! These mechanics aren't always the most fleshed out or necessary, but they're fun for what they are. I think it's one of the strengths that came from developing for older consoles, where you couldn't fine-tune the graphics for 10 years. So the development time was spent filling out the game with cool shit to do. By this point, I think it's clear that I'm glossing over a lot of the Disney worlds, and that's because a lot of it is kind of just the same. Doesn't really impact the overall story a lot. It's more so that you just close the keyholes and protect that world from the Heartless while going through an altered version of that Disney World story. Now, some of them are tweaked a little bit more to fit this narrative. Like Nightmare Before Christmas, Jack Skellington found the Heartless and wants to use them in a Halloween parade or something. I thought that was awesome. But others like Neverland just have you saving Wendy from Captain Hook, but also Riku is there being evil. The story can basically be summed up to the fact that Riku turned to the darkness and has basically been possessed by this guy named Ansem that I told you about in the beginning. Riku was also looking for Kairi, and he actually did find her, but she was missing her heart and was basically in a coma. Riku just keeps getting even more evil, and at one point he kidnaps Pinocchio? Dude, just let me talk to him. We track his ass down to Hollow Bastion, the last world in Kingdom Hearts. It's here that we find Beast, who's here to save his girlfriend. I don't know, I didn't watch that movie either, but his girlfriend is one of the princesses of Heart, and all the princesses got brought here. And just as we're about to go in, Riku drops a freaking bomb on him.
Let the Keyblade choose. It's true master. Only the Keyblade Master can open the secret door and change the world.
But that's impossible. How did this happen? I'm the one who fought my way here with the Keyblade.
You were just the delivery boy.
Oh, well, I know the king told us to follow the key and all, but...
Just like that, they up and left. I mean, I knew you were not a real one, Donald, but Goofy? See, they gotta follow the Keyblade. We don't have it anymore. Now it's just me and Beast. Kinda sucks. I lost my friends, I lost my weapon, but, you know, Beast is, a beast. He's the strongest character in the goddamn game. I don't really need the weapon. He just kind of rips through everyone. And even without the power of the Keyblade, even without Donald and Goofy at his side, Sora still goes into Hollow Bastion to face Riku.
Quit while you can.
No, not without Kairi.
The darkness will destroy you.
You're wrong, Riku. The darkness may destroy my body, but it can't touch my heart. My heart will stay with my friends. It'll never die.
This has got to be the cheesiest, corniest game I have ever played, but god damn it hits. They don't shy away from it. Full on save the day with the power of friendship, and we give Riku the friendliest ass whooping known to man. He runs off, good riddance. We get a little friendly with Maleficent too. She turns into a dragon. Shit gets kind of insane, but she don't know we got the power of friendship. Boom. Done. It's set up through the entire game that Maleficent is the big bad, but it's only revealed after we defeat her that Ansem and the Heartless were just using her to get to Kingdom Hearts. Ansem had only been partially possessing and corrupting Riku before this, but after his defeat, Riku fully gives in to the darkness in his heart. God, this is so, it's so cringy, but it's cool. He becomes fully possessed. We're no longer talking to Riku. It is clear that it's Ansem. Ansem explains that Kairi was the final princess of Heart, and without her heart, they could not open the door. And that heart was inside Sora all along. Just Oh my god.
The princess's heart is responding. It has been there all along. Kyrie's heart rests within you.
Kyrie's inside
I've
me.
been to cornfields less corny. Luckily, Ansem has a Keyblade himself that has the power to unlock people's hearts. Just, you know what? It makes sense. Cool, yeah. We drop 4 megatons of friendship on Ansem, and then Sora unlocks his own heart, becoming a Heartless but freeing Kyrie. It's okay though, because Kyrie brings him back with the power of friendship. She hugs him really hard and then he's fine. Basically, if something ever happens that shouldn't work in this game, it's because of the power of friendship. Power of friendship did it. So if you're ever wondering like, wait, why did that happen? Just power of friendship, fill in that blank. Because we unlocked Kyrie's heart, Ansem has everything he needs to open the door to Kingdom Hearts, take on the power of darkness, get extra powerful. Now remember when I said Hollow Bastion was the last world in Kingdom Hearts? I was wrong. There's another one, it's called the End of the World, and we chase Ansem down there for the final boss fight. This section has got to be one of the longest, most drawn out I have ever experienced in a video game. Holy shit, you have to go through this extremely long and tedious gauntlet of fighting little dudes on little dudes and more little dudes from every single world that you've been to. There's rooms you gotta go through. There's like this invisible barrier place you gotta go through, and everywhere you go there's just waves and waves and waves of enemies you have to beat. All leading up to a 2-phase boss fight with Ansem on Destiny Islands, which is just the warm-up for the real 8-phase boss fight against Ansem. It's just an unbelievable amount of fighting. I almost gave up at this point, and not because it's hard. I actually beat the Ansem boss fight in one go. I didn't die once, but I was probably fighting for 30 minutes straight, just whacking him. But once you finally do, you get to probably the best moment in the game, where Ansem is about to be defeated, and he calls out to Kingdom Hearts, to the darkness, to empower him. But he doesn't know. He doesn't know that Kingdom Hearts is light! Holy shit, it's been light all along, can you believe it? Kingdom Hearts is light! What actually is Kingdom Hearts? It's light, dude! But like, what's in there? Shut up! Shut up! Oh my god, it's light! Shut up! But like, what's in it though? It's light! It's light! I'm probably never gonna hear the words darkness, light, and heart the same in my entire life. The doors are open, and everyone has to work together to close, but they're not gonna be able to do it on this side. Luckily, on the other side, in the darkness, is Riku and Mickey. Wow. And the only way for them to close the door is for them to stay on the other side. They close the door, and the worlds that have been destroyed are restored. Kyrie is pulled back to Destiny Islands. I don't know why Sora's not pulled back, but probably friendship reasons. He promises Kyrie that he'll see her again one day, but he's got a mission to go and save Riku and Mickey from Kingdom Hearts. Credits roll, and you definitely don't feel strong emotions when this happens, because it's a children's game, and you're an adult, and you're grown, and it would be weird if you felt like moved in your heart. It all ends on a bold setup for a sequel that was not greenlit at the time. The 3 bros back together, traveling on the road, going to save Mickey and Riku. Such an insane amount of confidence for a new IP like this, but man, they fucking did it. At the end, it got a little confusing. They started throwing around the word friendship a lot, but I think the core message is clear. As long as you got your bros, nothing can stop you. So I recently learned that the #1 leading cause of death in the world is heart disease. You'd think like car accidents or cancer, but nope, rookie numbers compared to the heart. Which is crazy because for the most part, heart disease is preventable. I've never lost a loved one to heart disease, but statistically, a lot of you probably have. I learned all of this when I was reached out to on a Resident Evil video by the American Heart Association. They're an organization that has been committed to fighting heart disease for over 100 years now. This isn't an ad, I'm not getting paid. I just got to talking with Liv at the American Heart Association and decided I wanted to get involved. So right now we're doing a fundraiser for the American Heart Association. And when you donate, your money's gonna go towards a lot of great things, like raising awareness about heart disease, funding research, and getting people CPR trained, all things that are actively saving lives. To donate now, just go to the link in my description or the big donate box on the side. Okay, that's all. You can click the card right here to watch another one of my videos. Thank you for 240,000 subscribers. We are growing like crazy. Wild to see. I love it. Thank you so much. Okay, bye.